Hello there gang, DD DeVere here with another past blast in which we should be playing a little bit of Xcom UFO Defense. And the eagle-eyed among you might say, DD, you old duffer, it's clearly called UFO Enemy Unknown, what are you talking about? Right, so this game was originally released back in 1994, it was developed and published by microprose software. Now in the UK and Europe, it was originally released as UFO Enemy Unknown. In the US, it was called Xcom UFO Defense. And eventually there was a PlayStation 1 port that was known as Xcom Enemy Unknown, which is of course the name for the latest 2012 reboot and reimagining. So this on Steam and GOG.com, the old school XCOM was called XCOM UFO Defense. So now we've got all that out of the way, let's just dive on in with a new game. Now this is one area I'm not sure if it's been patched or not, but there was an actual bug in the game where regardless of difficulty you picked, once you started the game and had your first main battle, the game reverted to the beginner level. There is a patch out there to address this, but I'm not actually using it. This is just a fresh install. So I'll pick beginner just for sake of argument, but it's worth... The first time you play it, you probably want to be beginner anyway, but it's something to be aware of. So this is our geoscope, and our very first task is to establish a base somewhere, and the game is paused until we do. Obviously a good starting point is somewhere around North America. I like to put somewhere around here, and we have to give it a name. So what do we have here? We have our intercept, our bases, our graphs, our UFOpedia, our options, and that's all you get. There's load, save or leave. Funding, so let's have a quick look at the funding. Now this is, the story is, with increased alien activity, the Earth has set up a defence force, XCOM, to investigate and defend against these encroaching aliens. These countries, they're all paying money in for our funding. And we are of course the commander of XCOM. Now you have to, that's where your things like graphs and that come into play. By keeping an eye on them you can see whereabouts in the world there's a lot of alien activity. And you can put a base there to help stave off the alien invasion. If you don't have a base there, eventually they could eventually leave the project, and of course you'll lose the money. There are many ways to lose this game. If you have 2 months of poor performance in a row, you will lose the game automatically. If too many countries leave, you will lose automatically. If your bases all get wiped out, you will lose automatically. And if on the very final mission your team gets wiped out, you lose the game automatically. Winning, well, you just have to basically keep doing as well as you can, keep your funding incoming, and follow the story through. And then eventually you'll get a chance to raid the big main alien base. And if you destroy that, you win the game. All very simple. So let's have a look at our bases, or our one base at the moment. You can have up to 8, and eventually you will of course have several bases around. So this is the first layout. It's not a very good layout, but it's the one we've got. So the first thing to do is to start building a few facilities. Now at the moment this is all we've got to build. As you research things throughout the game they will increase, but for the time being you also have to build next to an existing installation. The first thing we definitely want, a large radar system. We want some more general stores because this base for a little while would be our main base. And then finally, what do I want? Alien containment. You definitely want alien containment. So once you're here, you have a lot of base information. So this tells us at the moment we have 8 soldiers, 10 engineers and 10 scientists at our base. Living quarters wise, we have 28 out of 50. A single living quarters can house up to 50 people. Stores, we've got 36 out of 50. And nothing happening in laboratories or workshops at the moment. And hangars free of 3 because we have 3 aircraft in each hangar. Detection, and that's your basic detection at the moment. And no defences. What else do we get? Soldiers. So now each soldier, we click on them, has a set of reaction times and stats. Now these as long as you keep your soldier alive and every mission they go in will increase. Stamina, the amount of time units you have, health, bravery. Oh lord, bravery of 20. It's often a good idea to game the game by firing a load of them and hiring a load new more and keeping ones with high stats and building up a strong force at the beginning, but for the sake of this quick look here, I shan't bother going through all of that. And they also get ranked up. You don't have any control over their promotion, that just happens automatically depending on how many troops you've got, how many missions, etc, etc. How many kills they achieve. So equip aircraft. The Sky Ranger 1, of course. We can adjust its crew, the equipment that we have on board, which we'll come back to that very shortly. Definitely want to make sure not water cannons on board at the moment. Put that on there as well. I might get rid of all the grenades. I prefer to use a different type of grenade, which we'll get to look at in a short moment. Armour, obviously that's a research item, so we don't have any. Now our interceptors, these are your basic fighters. So I'm going to change that one to the avalanche missile, and you'll now see it's rearming. Just about everything in this game takes time. So research, let's get some research underway. We have 10 scientists, let's start a new project, and I'll pick laser weapons. Now let's assign 10, which is all we've got at the moment. And all we've got space for, probably. Obviously manufacture, we've got nothing to manufacture, so we'll leave that. You can save money by getting rid of them engineers until you have something to manufacture, but it's really not worth it. Transfer, when you have more bases, that will come up there, and you can transfer to one of your 8 bases. And finally, sell sack, this is where you can get rid of stuff. And purchase recruit is the opposite, which is where we can get some stuff, so which we're going to do now. Right, I definitely want a tank, a cannon tank. And we need 30 shells minimum. So if it hasn't got 30 shells, it can't be fielded. So in fact, what I'll do is I'll get that many out there. I'm sure there used to be a way to increment things in batches of 10, but for the life of me, I can't find it. I've tried Control and Shift. Nope, can't find it. So let's scroll down and see what else we've got. That we want. Let's see, proximity grenades, that's what I want. So I want at least 8 of them. I'll make it 10. The stun rod, I'll get a couple of them. They're very useful later on. And electro flares, we'll have 10 of them. Or 11 even. Okie dokie, that'll do nicely. Oh yes, and cell sacks. I was just going to get rid of the standard grenades, wasn't I? Should I get rid of the heavy cannon and ammo? I'll keep it for now. I'll just get rid of all of those. As I find the proximity is worth the extra money. So, with that all done, that's basically our facilities. It's a nicely simple interface. So back to our geoscope. So down here we have our time control, and what date and what time it is, and how fast you want time to increment per second. So we'll go 1 day for the time being. Oh. That's a bit awkward, our stuff hasn't turned up yet. So I shall send Interceptor 1 to attack this scout UFO. Put it on to 30 minutes into combat. Right, so I'll set it for a standard attack. You can also see what the UFO looks like. Oh, we destroyed it. Awkward. Not a problem though. Right, so that's turned up there. So I'll just okay that for the time being. Okie dokie. Right, okay, 5 seconds. Let's go back to our bases and back to our quick craft. Sky Ranger 1. So let's get that tank on board for starters. Proximity grenade, let's pop all those on. Stun rod, let's have both of those, and the electro flares. Did I just see some rifle? I'll stick both of those on and all the spare clips. I'll just basically use as much stuff as I can keep on board there. Okay, that's as maximum we can have. Okay, so I'll put a few. Oh, you can't even get a few more clips on board. Okay, no worries. That should do us nicely anyway. What else? We've got 3 of them on board. I'll take one off. Okie dokie, let's okay that and okay that. And back to our geoscope. So our first bit of research is completed. Now, research in this game is very much on a tree-based system. So now that was just the laser technology that we've researched. Now that we understand the basic principles, we can start allocating different research. For now, this is the laser pistol. So we'll start the new project, laser pistol, and yeah, whack them all on that. Did I hire 10 more scientists or not? I can't remember if I did or not. There is a way to see what's on its way. Is it transfers? Can't remember if I don't think as I did I? Right, I'll get 10 more scientists. For the time being. Right, maybe I did get some more. I know there's a way to check what was coming into each base. But okay, not a problem, not a problem. If we get some more, we can smack them on. This is only a quick play, so it doesn't really matter. As long as we stick all this lot onto there. Back to the geoscope. Back to 1 day. So if we view reports, we now see the laser. Gives you a bit of a bump about it. What its accuracy is, what its damage is, damage type. Now we allocate research for the laser rifle. And we can also start some manufacturing. Let's allocate manufacturing. It's the same, it's exactly the same thing. You pick an item you want to manufacture, and then how many you want to make. It's 8,000 per unit, 2 workspace required. That's plenty, that's plenty. I don't really want that many. That'll do for now. Because obviously we've got to keep an eye on our funding at the moment. We've probably spent quite a bit of cash. Right. Now this one, hopefully we can get there. Intercept. Pick Intercept 1 again. And send it to attack UFO 2. Put on standard attack. They can fire back. So we've got our first bit of combat coming up. Right, so to start the mission. Now there is a good variety of missions. This is your most basic one. Shooting down your UFO and then sending a team to try and eliminate any survivors, capture any prisoners, and bring back any items. So let's pick our interceptor, which is Sky Ranger 1. That's the interceptor R Sky Ranger. Let's send that to the crash site. But throughout the game you will get other types of missions, such as they will try and attack a city, and you've got to go to the city and try and save people. Sometimes the UFO will just land, and if you can get there in time you can capture everything intact. And eventually, once you start having more success against the aliens, they will start attacking you, and you have to defend your base. That's where you lay out your bases is important. That just gives us the bump. Physics says eliminate all threats, and the mission's complete. So here's our equip screen. We can go through and see who's got what. And you might be tempted to put an item in both hands. If you do that, you will lower the accuracy of your troops. Also, if you put too much stuff in them, they have a stamina stat, so that can go down quite quickly. Right, so the thing I do want to have put in, I do want to have... I didn't check if this is a day or night mission. Yeah, it's depending on whereabouts it happens. This could be a day or a night mission. Who was the chap I just took the weapon off? There we go, I'm going to give him the autocannon. Things also depend... It's also important where you put items on your soldier. If you have something in the backpack, it takes longer to get out than something in your belt, basically. We should check, because obviously a night mission, it's dark. The aliens have the advantage, and they've got better night vision. You don't. Let's just see what else we've got here. Has everyone got one? And I might... It's unlikely I'm going to need a stun rod, but I'll take one anyway. Right, that should be everything we need. I should have checked to see if there was any... Oh, it is a night mission. Oof. Yeah. When you've shot them down, you don't have to instantly intercept them. You could wait to daylight and then send your troops. That's not a problem. But obviously, things like city raids, well, there's the UFO for starters. And this is the reason I like the tank. Now, a tank obviously doesn't have any stats. It's fixed. Everything's fixed. It doesn't get any better or any worse throughout the game. But they can take a little bit of damage from the enemy weapons before getting destroyed. And they make good... It's better to lose that than one of your best trained troops, because you can just buy a new tank. So, let's see, we can scroll through the levels of the map. Some of these maps will be very big, especially the city maps, when you have to save a city. This is your overview map, the area. That's where you want a troop to kneel or stand. Let's go back up a level, or select the next troop. So now if we move him out, so you see his time units, there's 54. Oh, and we can see an alien already. Right, and this is awkward. Let's try a snapshot. Let me right click to cancel that. So combat, yes, you click on your weapon. You're given 3 types of shot: your aimed, your snap, or your auto, which is 3 shots in quick succession. How many time units it will cost, and what the accuracy statistics are, as well as throw, in case you've got any. Or you can throw a weapon away if you want. Let's try a snapshot. That was not a good snapshot. That was better. Right, I'm going to try and move him out of the way quickly. See, even things like that, just looking around, he's got 1 point left. If I look him over in this direction, he has no points. Everything takes time in this game. So let's go to our next soldier. It's going to be awkward trying to get a good clear shot on that, even with enough time units, and I'll try and have a snapshot. I could kneel her for some extra accuracy, but... Whew. Right, she's got enough to get out of the way. That's one fair criticism of this game. Some of these missions can take a long time. You don't have, if it starts going bad, you can evacuate, but if you don't have all your troops in the landing craft when you go, then you lose them. So keep that in mind. So what I should do for the rest of this turn, I should just move these guys forward slowly. It's quite deep and tactical. There's a lot of things you can do here. If you have explosive weapons, you can blow holes in the side of the spacecraft and buildings. If you have grenades, you can pop them down and try and flush aliens out that way. There is a lot of quite deep tactics here. Same as you could put down smoke to try and hide the aliens. What I should have done is I should have thrown in an electro flare, shouldn't I? That was the whole reason why I bought them. Right, how many time units has he got? Will he have enough? Let's see if I can bring him here and get there in time. So let's go to his backpack. He's got 13 time units left. Oh, and he can throw 13 time units. That helps our vision. Because one of their stats you might have noticed was reaction time. Let's try and move him in. Hang on, is it? Oh, there's somebody in the way, of course there is. And you see you've got 42. Right, I should move him forward. Let's guard. I'll put him this way. Yes, during the enemy turn, if you leave your troops with enough points, and if they have a high enough reaction time, if an alien walks in front of them or shoots at them, they'll sometimes shoot back or shoot first even, allowing you to kill in their turn. However, the same applies for the enemy. They can shoot back at you during your turn. Keep that in mind. So yeah, this game has a... I didn't realise there was one in front of him. I don't want to get them too packed up, because that makes them easy targets, obviously. Getting your troops out is... and the mission going is the longest part of this game. So let's end turn here. and see what happens. Alright, not a lot. That's a good sign. There's probably not a lot of aliens left. So let's try and move this tank forward. Oh, he would go the long way round. My fault. Should have moved it first. Should have moved her out of the way. So that's why I like to take. In return of snapshots, it'll often trigger the snapshots. So I'm just going to move him straight out, and I'll look him up that way. So we want to start trying to pack around the ship. I mean, this is quite a small map. Also, the terrain you're fighting on will change depending on where you are. If this was like, if this is a desert in Africa, then you'll be fighting on more desert-like terrain. If this was somewhere in an Arctic region, it will be snow. Here, because it's America, it's a fairly sort of farmland type thing. Not what should we call that? Rural, that's the word. Alright, and this chap down here to help support him. Well, it all's going quite well, and obviously like a city attack. Probably, as you'd imagine, you're in a big city. So you've got some pretty good complex battlefields going on. Quite a lot of tactical depth. Later on, you'll get, as your research grows and you get more important weapons and more armours and such like, it offers more options. And this game has one of the absolutely best ever difficulty curves I've ever seen of a game. I'm sure anyone who's played this game before will know exactly what I'm referring to. I shan't mention what it is here, so as I don't give any spoilers. But the first time it happens, you'll just be, oh, what the hell do I do here? It is one of the best ones ever. Because, of course, this, at the moment, the one we just shot there is just your standard little grey insectoid. They're just your basic ground troops. So, of course, as the game goes along, you will meet many more different aliens. Various aggressive types, different attacks, different weaponry. So I mean, this map still goes on all over here. This is just a basic little small beginning map for a small ship. Because as you can imagine, even the ship types change. And she had enough to get there. Right, and she's got enough to take a shot. Good, good. So try to find a way to place them without getting them too packed up. Oh, there we go. There's an alien over there somewhere. Well, let's try and throw a flare in that direction. He was pretty close. She's got enough to do that. So let's... It's worth noting friendly fire is on. If you end up accidentally shooting one of your own troops in the back, you will kill them. Right. How far can she throw that? Oh, he's in there somewhere. Right, I'm definitely going to duck her to try and make her a harder target. I'm going to start bringing these guys out to spread them open a little bit. Ooh, misses. Bring him up to here. And I'll bring him over here. Tank we said was out of go, didn't we? No, tank's got some. See, the tank got damaged. Oh, come on, you must be able to see it. It's somewhere in that cornfield. Right, hide him to the side here for the time being. And let's just end turn. Did we say these two have moved? I can't remember. Oh no, we've still got some go. So I'm just going to bring them up to cover this bottom area in case there's anything hovering around down here. You'll also notice their morale's taken a hit now because of the loss of their comrade. If a morale drops too far, they can panic, they can drop their weapons, or they can even retreat. You lose complete control of them. Alright, let's find out what that little sod is and try and put an end to his hash. I kind of know where he is. Oh, how can you not be seeing him? It's just there. Finally, there he is. Right, now hopefully some of these people have got a line of sight, because that's also important. Line of sight. If they're hidden behind things, then, yeah. Sure, 61% accuracy. The chance of her hitting it, even if she has got a line of sight. No line of fire. Damn. Let's try it. I have to have stood her up, see if she can see it now. As she can. Good. Because wounds also matter. Wounds drop your accuracy as well as morale. Can you see it? I'll try another range shot from here. Ugh. At that point I'll go for several snapshots and see if he can luck one out. Which not looking that good at the moment. Oh! Right, has she got any time units left? Because I don't like her being there. No, she doesn't really. So I'll bring these chaps in to try and cover the doorway here in case there's another alien. Oh, I wasn't paying attention, I just clicked him off. Good grief. That's why I've taught myself bad habits. That's why it's best to use the next troop button. And he's still got 27. He's got enough to at least look at the doorway. Right, you come up here and also cover the doorway. What do you mean? Oh no, yes. Right, so you come up this side. Oh no, he's gone the long way. Normally the pathfinding's pretty good. Normally. And that's why you don't want to waste all your time units up in a go. It does show its age a bit in some ways like that, obviously graphically. Note the fact you get such a nice variety of... Let's just end it and hope for the best. Oh, that was it. That was the last one. Oh, not too bad. The lost one operative, unfortunately, was probably the good one. So we've got some alien alloys. We didn't get to stay inside the alien ship. Because it was shot down, it was probably mostly wrecked. We've got 12 alien artifacts. 4 alien corpses with 2 killed. Alright. Evelyn Miller has been promoted. Anything you use on the mission has to be obviously replaced. Bullets and such like. You don't keep any ammunition. So we'll just about conclude our dealings here, gang. Absolute classic turn-based strategy game with a lot of depth. Researching alone the different aliens as you come across them. And yeah, one of the most original and inventive difficulty spikes of any game I've ever played. It's almost worth playing for that alone, because when it first happens to you, really, really impressive. You'll just be so like, oh my god, how do I get around this? But just for the UFOpedia, as you get more and more research, that'll get full. As at the moment, because we haven't researched any alien technology, alien types, because you can capture aliens. Those insectoids there, there's also different, because there's also different ranks of alien. So an alien commander will yield more information than a soldier. There's so many levels of depth to this game. I think it's something like $2.99 on Steam. And they're honestly best off buying the base pack. There's a whole pack of the early UFO games, which gives you this, Enemy Unknown, Enforcer, Apocalypse, and another one, the space one. Now, Terror from the Deep, the second game, is basically this reskinned. Even the developers said it, because of this was an absolute success in the day for both the PC, well, the MS-DOS, the Amiga, and then the PlayStation version. So they just basically rushed out a reskin, which was Terror of the Deep. So it's still good, but with much bigger maps to fight on was basically the only difference. But I shall definitely look at some of the other games in this series in these past blasts. They're worth a look in their own, some of them. But if you want a really good turn-based strategy game, which is quite fun, is I don't generally like turn-based games. And I actually played this on the Amiga, and the Amiga was a disc version. Oh, the disc swapping and the slow load times, but even so, I absolutely was so addicted to this game. It was absolutely amazing, just from the different research, finding the new technologies, discovering the new alien types, defending your bases, defending cities, attacking alien bases when you discover them, all the new technology you'll get to build and arm your troops with, and so much depth when you get in there. You can blow holes in walls and make your own entrances. Yeah, lots of really, really good stuff. And for $2.99 were worth it, but the pack for £8, whatever, definitely worth a grabbing. And we will look at some of those other games later on at some point. I should mention, even to this day, the beautiful slick interface is still so nice and straightforward. This is back at the time when you had manuals and no tutorials, and even just without it, it all makes sense. Did I mention your graphs? That's how you keep track of where aliens are to let you know where to attack. Just in case I didn't, it's worth remembering that. Keep your eye on those, very important. So anyway, gang, let's conclude our dealings here. This was... what was it called under this one? This is Xcom UFO Defense, with its 10 different names. Might be old, but it's still absolutely fantastic, and it runs off like a charm. The only slight technical point is the mouse is super sensitive, because this is just basically a stretched up resolution rather than supporting genuine modern resolutions, as you can probably tell. Minor problem. Outside of that, yeah, really great game. So anyway, gang, I hope you found this video useful and entertaining in some way, and as ever, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to let me know you're alive, and I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.